Declutter Queen with Avery Cundill.
Welcome back to the Declutter Queen. Today, we are heading into a surprisingly sneaky clutter zone. Your spice cabinet. Okay, so maybe it's a spice drawer, or a lazy Susan, or a crammed shelf where expired oregano goes to die. However you house your spices, you get the gist. Wherever you keep them, spices are one of the most overlooked forms of clutter in the kitchen. But here's the thing. When your spices are organized, cooking gets easier. Your food tastes better, and your kitchen just feels more functional. Today, we're going to walk through a fast, no-stress process to declutter your spices. Make space for the ones you actually use, and say goodbye to that jar of celery salt from 2009. Let's dive in.
Why spice clutter happens.
So, spices tend to multiply quietly, and here's why. We buy some spices for one recipe, and then we never use them again. Think of the time you bought, let's call it fennel pollen. Now, my apologies for those of you who use this spice regularly, but I think it's safe to say if, and that's a huge if, any of us have this kicking around our kitchens, it was likely a one-hit wonder. Another thing that happens is we tend to forget what we already have, so we buy it again. I confess, at some point in my life, I owned 10 dried mustards, guilty as charged. Another reason why they multiply quietly is that we inherit jars. We inherit spices from roommates, relatives, or even kitchen cleanouts. We have a family member who has given us many spices, most of which we have no idea what to do with. Another thing that can happen is we're not sure when they expire, so we just keep everything. And although we may be quick to throw out expired milk and cheese, we are less likely to do this with spices. I am not sure why that is, but I can tell you that spices do have a shelf life. So going through them and getting rid of old stock makes very good sense. And let's face it, cluttered spices slow you down. They crowd your cooking space, they're a waste, and let's be more honest. Stale spices do not make delicious food. So depending on just how many spices you have, this declutter can often be done quickly, in under an hour. And here is how.
Step 1. Pull every spice out.
Okay, this is the gather stage. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Super important. Grab all your jars, tins, bags, boxes, wherever your spices are hiding, and lay them on the counter. You might be surprised at how many you actually own. You also may have to go on a small scavenger hunt to find them all, as they may be housed in various locations of the kitchen. Do it, because it's so worth it to have a well-organized and consolidated spice area in your home.
Step 2. Check dates and do a sniff test.
So most ground spices, particularly, lose potency after 1 to 3 years. Whole spices can last a little bit longer. But what you want to do is look for any expiration dates, faded color of the spice, or even a weak or musty smell. If it smells like nothing, it'll taste like nothing. Time to let it go. And here's a pro tip. If there's no date on it, but you can't remember buying it, it's probably old and has to go.
Step 3. Group and evaluate.
Now that you've done the sniff test, time to group the keepers by category. So, your daily use spices you want front and center. Salt, pepper, garlic, chili, add whatever are your dailies. Have them at the ready. We don't use all our spices as often, so you want to make sure that the ones you use are accessible to you. If you're a baker, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, those might be your ones. Have them available. You might even want to have the daily use spices and the baking spices available. Then you've got global flavors. So curry powder, za'atar. I love the Chinese 5-spice. Have those in an area. And last but not least, herbs. So oregano, thyme, rosemary. And there may be more, and you might want to have another category, but try to keep the spices that you use for certain things together. And then, of course, ask yourself, do I use this regularly? Can I combine duplicates into one container? And then, do I even like this flavor spice? Let go of anything you haven't used in a year and don't plan to. That spice is taking up space, and you know what? You and your kitchen deserve better. And look, we all like to consider ourselves as culinary diverse, or at least some of us do. But that doesn't mean that you need to own 78 different spices. The truth is that you are likely able to cook very well and eclectically with as little as 10 to 15 different types of spices, possibly even less. So even if that jar of amateur powder, yep, that one will need a Google search, looks cool, if you're not using it and not cooking with it, get rid of it.
Step 4. Store smarter.
Okay, so storage is important. And I know I said you may have this situation in your house, a shelf, a drawer, but try to keep a dedicated, organized spice area. One of the things that I really like is a spice rack. So that can work in certain homes. A drawer insert also is really helpful if you have space to keep the spices in the drawers. Even a turntable, if you're keeping them in a cabinet that's more upright friendly, a turntable for visibility. Another thing I suggest is to label jars clearly, especially if you like to decant them. So I even actually bought these little stickers that had spice labels, super cheap on you-know-where, on the Zon, and you can put them on top to make it even clearer, black and white, really visible so you can find your spices right away. And again, I mentioned this earlier, keep everyday spices up front and the seasonal or specialty blends in the back. You can even alphabetize them if that brings you joy, no pressure. Another thing you may want to consider is we sometimes have bags of spices in addition to jars. So consider transferring loose bags or spices that are in other carrying situations into glass jars for consistency and easier storage. They may even last a little bit longer, to be honest. If your spice storage comes in a multitude of shapes and sizes, this makes them harder. So try to streamline. Consider all bags or all jars. You can do a combo too, but just make sure it's organized and easy to follow. Okay, I've said a lot. Let me give you your weekly challenge. Declutter your spice cabinet. One session. So here we have it. I want you to set a timer for 30 minutes and start decluttering. Toss what's expired, consolidate what you can, and organize what you love. If you're feeling extra motivated, and I love to do this, snap a before and after photo. It is amazing to see how much visual peace this small change creates. And remember, this isn't just about getting rid of old paprika. It's about making your kitchen work with you, not against you. And if you like this episode, consider sharing it with a friend who you know is drowning in spice problems. And if this episode inspired you, share it with a friend who loves to cook. Or maybe even a friend who keeps 3 open jars of cinnamon just in case.
And now, tea with the Declutter Queen.
And now, let's welcome Lily Rich to the show.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you for coming on the show and agreeing to share your decluttering issues and problems. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I clearly need help. You can't see the state of my room, but it's pretty bad.
There you go. Well, honesty is always helpful. So we'll jump right into ask away. Ask any question that is in your mind about decluttering, and I'll help you answer as best I can.
Okay, well, my question is not about the state of my room because that's separate. I would say my question is, as a very busy university student, pre-grad school stage, applying to law school, trying to, have a good social life and good grades and also good hygiene generally, I find that it's very hard to decide what is worth my time and what is not. So I guess my question is, how do I best declutter my schedule in a way that keeps the meaningful stuff and cuts everything else?
Oh, I just love this question. Like, this is one of my favorites. And just starting to answer, I'll say, you are not alone. So in my decluttering journey, I hear this problem comes out a lot. So thank you for asking this question. Calendar chaos. So gave it a name. Do you like it?
I appreciate the alliteration.
Yes, calendar chaos sounds, it kind of rolls off the tongue. But this is a very real kind of clutter and can actually hit more at your nervous system than a physical mess. So, you just talked about your room being a little bit of a mess, and our viewers can't see, but I saw. And so, yeah, things, when we don't attend to them, get out of control. But believe it or not, the calendar kind of chaos can actually cause more issues than the physical. So understand that when you feel overwhelmed or that you are failing in that department, calendar chaos, you are not. Your calendar is just asking too much of one human. So let's calm it down instead of causing it all these issues. And I'm going to kind of go through, first I kind of want to deal with the why, if that's okay with you.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and then I want to give you 3 helpful steps for this. And you don't worry about taking notes. I'll send you everything later so you can have it if you want to review these ideas.
Like it's in class.
It's a class. Well, as a university student, I'm kind of in line with what you deal with all the time, right?
Yes.
Okay, so before I get to some hard and fast techniques on how to declutter your calendar, it may be helpful to understand why this happens. So, most people who are harried and late are dealing with one or more of these. Now, I'm not saying you're harried or late. I'm just kind of...
I am harried and late.
Okay, there you go. I hit it right.
I am harried and late.
So most people are dealing with one or more of these. So when I mention these, see if they sound familiar. Number 1, you schedule tasks, but not the transitions to the tasks.
Oh.
Okay, keep that there. Sound familiar?
Interesting way to phrase that.
Yes.
I've never heard that phrase like that before.
Number 2, you underestimate how long everything takes.
Oh, no.
Very human, right?
Oh, no.
Okay, let's go number 3. You say yes before checking your future energy.
Uh-oh.
Number 4, your calendar reflects other people's priorities, not yours.
Interesting.
Okay. And number 5, you don't have white space. So one hiccup can ruin the day.
Okay. I would say I have 3 out of 5. The first 3.
Okay. So let's fix this gently. Okay. This isn't a quick fix. It's one of those things that we have to work on. Okay. So whether it's 1 or 2, these are things that happen when we have overstuffed, chaotic calendars. And, the good news is you're a busy person. You've got lots going on. But there is ways to manage things so that your calendar does not create chaos in your life. Okay? So let's go through them. And then I'm going to, after each suggestion or step, I'll pause and I'll, if you have any questions or anything. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Step 1. Create non-negotiable buffers. And this can be a game changer. Okay. So from now on, every event that you put in your calendar, everything that has to get done, you put in a buffer. 15 to 30 minutes before for getting ready, travel, and brain warm up, and then 15 minutes after for decompression and lateness insurance. Okay? So that means if you have something at 10, it actually is at 9:30 to 15 minutes after. So if it's 10 to 11, it's 9:30 to 11:15. That's the buffer.
Okay.
And practically, and this is like a tried and true method, this alone can often cut lateness by 70 to 80%.
Interesting stat.
It's a strategy. So you got a class from 10 to 11. It's now from 9:30 to 11:15.
Okay, yeah. That's a
Sound interesting? Curious?
very interesting. Yes. I mean, thankfully, I'm one of those people where, like, I guess your audience can't see it, but because I use a wheelchair, I kind of have to budget in that time already. But it ends up being, I guess maybe for me, it should be 30 minutes and 30 minutes, not just 30 and 15.
100%. So you take that buffer and you go, if I already buffer, this is the new buffer.
Yeah.
Right? And this is going to help you never be late, have a stretch of time for things, and not be harried.
Okay.
All right. So that's step 1. Step 2, cap your daily out of the house events. And what does this mean? So you decide your personal max during the week. I know you've got classes, so those are non-negotiables, but 2 to 3, and this might be surprising to you, 2 to 3 other events in a day is often plenty. It's often enough. You don't need to schedule so many things to do. So if you've got a class that day, 2 or 3 other things. On the weekend, 1 to 2. That's your downtime. So jamming things in on the weekend, not so good because that's the time you get to rest. And anything beyond that, so anything beyond these caps becomes optional, virtual, rescheduled, or a no. Your calendar should reflect capacity, not possibility.
Oh, that's a piece of advice. Oh.
Okay. I know. It's a good one. I'm going to send, yes, you'll want that line. So capacity, not possibility. We all know our own personal capacities. I know myself on Saturday, I like to just cave in and watch movies and be quiet and have a bath. So if I scheduled 9 things on a Saturday, this would be a terrible day for me.
Yes.
You figure out your own capacity and you cap it. And you know, okay, well, if this has to happen, it's got to be virtual. I got to reschedule or it's no. And that's it. I'm glad this is resonating with you a little bit. I can hear the wheels turning.
It is. If I can be so honest, Matt is making me laugh. Yes,
well, he does that to me too.
He did a thing that was like, Lily has cleared up her outstanding accounts at Axe Lounge.
Well, there you go. I know.
I've only been to the Axe one time.
For the audience, my husband and daughter both went to, my daughter's going to Acadia University and my husband went there. So they have this whole thing that I'm not involved with.
Yeah.
It includes donairs and other things. So they're playing some games.
Other activities.
There you go. Okay. Moving on. Step 3. And this one I love. I love this step. Okay. Do a weekly calendar declutter. So once a week, you sit down, you look at your week. I like to do this on a Saturday or Sunday because it's anticipating the week ahead. And once a week, you look at your calendar, you look at your upcoming week with everything slotted in, and you ask yourself 4 questions. The first one, does this still need to happen? And then you look at every event and you go, okay, I can maybe get rid of 1, maybe not. We'll see. Maybe 2. Second question, could this be shorter? So you got something. Did I schedule it? Is it too long? Can I make it smaller? What can I do? Maybe yes, maybe no. Question 3, could this event be grouped with something else?
Mm.
So, okay, you've got 2 rogue events that they're kind of in the same place. Can I couple them together? Number 4, do I actually want to do this? And this might be the most important one. You put something in, now you're absolutely not interested. The mental fog of keeping that in your calendar is big. Get rid of it. It's gone. That's it. Delete, shorten, or move one thing. Just has to be one. Could be more, but one. And that is calendar decluttering success.
Interesting.
It's, I'll tell you, I do this. And I look at my calendar and I'm like, like doing interviews, just as an example. I know I can't do more than 2 a day. I don't have the energy. I don't have the voice. I don't have the capacity. But some days, okay, move it. It's fine. You think to yourself, I can't move it. You can. You think you can fix things to suit you, because then that event is getting the best of you. Otherwise, it's getting depleted you. And kind of nobody deserves depleted you. Do you know what I mean? Everybody deserves.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Yeah, you gotta reset. So what do you think of my 3 steps?
Good 3 steps. I'm realizing that half of this is not a matter of overscheduling. Like, of course it is, because you're saying yes to too many things, but it's a matter of a misunderstanding of capacity as opposed to like simply just jamming too many things into a calendar. And I think not that they're two separate things, but it's a symptom of a problem. It's not the problem itself.
Absolutely. And you know what? I know you're running for a position. What's the position you're running for again at a KDA?
VP Academic External.
Okay. So you're now adding probably a quite, it's going to
full-time job level.
Full-time job to your slate. So, that's something now that this might be really helpful in, is that you're adding something. You might have to take something out. You might have to shift things around in order to accommodate this new addition. Kind of shuffling the cards. You got to make room for stuff. It's not just you're already busy. Now you're going to be more busy. How do I get the clutter and chaos out in a way that makes sense to me?
That's true. That's a good point, because I know that, like, I actually just got my exam schedule. Matt, you'll laugh at this. So I got my exam schedule. My last exam is 7 p.m. on the 23rd, which is the last day of the exams period.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
So, but the way it generally goes is you've got 2 exams super early, like on the 6th and the 7th, and then you get to wait around for 2 weeks for the last one
and do nothing. Yeah. And then I start work May 1st. So I was talking to my partner and I was like, I guess I'm coming to Winnipeg for 5 days. I guess that's the schedule I get.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? But that's life, right? That's okay. You got something thrown at you. You got to adjust. And maybe your partner will come see you, now it's like shuffling cards, right? Okay, well, this doesn't work, so we can make this work. But that's actually part of it. Like, calendars are not static. They are fluid. So when we get the expectation that I'm going to have that, oh, wait a sec, now I got to change it. And there's room for that, because that's kind of how we manage this busyness.
Yes, this is true. That's so funny. As you've I hate to do this, but as you've been talking, my friends texted of, does anyone want to do this? And I just said yes. And I realized as you were talking, I was like, maybe it should.
Well, you know what? Look, we changed our interview time to now you're free. You see, so it works out, right? And I said to Matt, so we're doing this interview on Saturday, 7 p.m. I knew my daughter's going to go out. So I'm like, let's bump it up. And, just to get it done. But thinking ahead is also one of those things that's like, maybe we should do it earlier. And sometimes it works out, right?
It does.
And there's room in the calendar to make these changes, right?
There is.
Okay, we can do it. And now we've cleared up your evening. So I'm so happy about that.
And now I get to travel. I get to do you're going to kill me, Matt, the walk of shame.
Oh, no.
Are you going to Kroll Tower?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be the walk of shame.
Walk of shame.
All my friends are, unfortunately, 40% of my friends live where I live, and 40% live in Kroll Tower. So.
That's all right. You've got you've drawn a path between the two now, hey?
Yes. Yeah. A quite well-worn one.
Okay, well, go rest before you go out. And thank you so much, Lily, for joining me on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I might do a check-in with you in a few months just to make sure you're, see if you've had progress. Hope you've had progress.
I would hope so. Well, I'm working throughout the summer, so it'd be a good time.
Lily, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to check in with you and I'll send you all of our notes from our session today. And I so appreciate it. Love you so much. Mwah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Of course. Love you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Declutter Queen with Avery Cundill. For more decluttering tips and tricks, go to thedeclutterqueen.ca.
Produced and distributed by the Sound Off Media Company.